everybody, and welcome to Bits of Board, where we're talking board games, miniatures, cards, and dice. My name's Michael, and today we continue on our journey through Kingdom Death Monsters campaign. This is Lantern Year number 5, and we've certainly got some decisions to make on the back of our awesome encounter with the Butcher last ep. I had a lot of fun with that, and this is just going to continue the development of our characters. You'll see what I mean. Let's dive straight in. So before we go off on our hunt, at the end of the last vid, we left with 4 endeavors to spend. And I was pretty keen on going for a White Lion level 2 this hunt. But I've been warned away by some of the comments in the channel, which is fantastic. It means I'm not going to lose any of the big names in the team. But it does make me think about how I'm going to make, lesser White Lion encounters more valuable for the progression of our settlement. So, we're going to spend these endeavors at the Lantern Horde, using the Shared Experiences location. Now here, we can spend one of our endeavors to grant Hunt XP to some of our greener survivors. Now this isn't the first time we've done it, but I'm doing it this time so we can basically prepare a new team to go out. So as I've alluded, our next hunt will be back to a White Lion level 1. And that's for a number of reasons. Basically, we need the resources first and foremost to get the armor that we seem to be lacking right now. Secondly, now that Bastion has to use the Twilight Sword, it would be silly to run into an encounter hoping to hit, because that thing is rubbish until you've actually got some weapon proficiency behind you. Now we can't just send Bastion out alone, so we've got to prepare some survivors to join in and sort of be on the same level as he is. Now he's going to be pretty rubbish because of that Twilight Sword, so I thought let's send out our very first parents from the settlement, who I have now named Dryleaf and Freya. Oh. Now they've got bonuses to strength as well as the bonus to strength and evasion that we get from the survival of the fittest, and they start with a little bit of insanity as well. And to round out the team, we're going to send our newbie, who I have aptly named Dorian. Why am I telling you this? Well, we are going to spend our 4 endeavors here, 2 on Freya and 2 on Dryleaf, to bump their Hunt XP up. Now, having done this already, this will bring them up to 3 Hunt XP, and that means we've got to roll for their age milestones. So Dryleaf and Freya are going to be able to select their weapon proficiencies going into their very first encounter. This is very cool. We also have to roll on the table here, so we'll start off with Dryleaf. And we get a 10 for him, meaning he gains 1 random fighting art. He gains the Berserker fighting art, which is going to be pretty cool. Once per showdown, you may spend an activation to suffer Bash and the Frenzy Brain Trauma. And now we roll for Freya. That is a 17 plus 1 permanent accuracy. Very nice. All right, here we've got Bastion's gear grid. As you can see, he's the one that's got all of the rawhide armor this round. This is going to be super useful, and it's going to offset some of his survival usage because he is running with the Twilight Sword thanks to that hooded knight from the last ep. This thing is a blessing and a curse. It can be super powerful, but its combination of abilities, so slow, cursed, cumbersome, sentient, irreplaceable, namely cumbersome, means that we have to use both our movement and our activation to be able to attack with this. So we are going to be using survival to offset that a fair bit, I'm sure. Chuck that in with his dried Arcanthus, and he's going to be up to the max of 4 survival for this particular encounter. Hope for the best. Next up we have Dryleaf, one of our very first parents of the campaign, and he's running extremely light with just the cloth and lion headdress. But he's going to be using the King's Spear, so hopefully he's going to be keeping himself out of trouble. Thirdly, we have Freya. She is the other of our first parents. She's running a little hotter than Dryleaf, mainly going to be using that scrap sword to do as much damage as possible. Now don't forget, both of these parents have a bonus to strength just for being the proud parents of the strongest first child. And of course, with our survival of the fittest, all of our survivors gain that bonus to strength and evasion. So she's sitting pretty comfortably for this encounter. And lastly, we have the newbie who accompanied our founding survivors on that first hunt after the prologue. He's back in the game and aptly named Dorian. See if you can come up with a reason why there. He is crazy, so he's going to be running with that butcher's cleaver, and he is hoping he can actually get a couple of hits because he's going to be trying to run the axe specialization. Now he's also got our support gear with the cat eye circlet and whisker harp just in case, and a cat gut bow. This is mainly a just in case we need to deal with ground fighting. All right, let's go to the hunt phase. So our survivors set off. We reveal the first hunt card. The darkness is filled with unearthly screeching and yowling. Huddled together, the survivors close their eyes but cannot sleep. All survivors suffer 1 brain event damage. That is not great for us. Pretty much we have 2 survivors that are almost relying on being insane. One of them, Bastion, is carrying the Twilight Sword and he has to be insane if he wants to use it. The other is our newbie Dorian. He's using the Butcher's Cleaver and absolutely has to be insane to use that. Thankfully, he has a bow as well just in case he loses out on everything. But Bastion, well, he's just running with the sword, so he's going to have to move to fist and tooth if he loses too much insanity. Let's move to the next one. All right, scratching grounds. Claw marks scar the ground. The survivors may choose to investigate. Each survivor that investigates gains +1 courage and rolls on the table. I think we should do this one. We've had it before and it's been quite useful for us. So let's begin. Let's investigate with everybody here. We'll start with Bastion. A 1, no! Sifting through the rubble, a shifting stone crushes the survivor's hands. The survivor suffers 1 event damage to the arm's location. That'll drop his armor down a point coming into this battle, but not so bad that will be put off for the rest of them. Let's go to Dryleaf. A 3. Oh no, again. Another arms damage, and that is going to be a light wound for him. This is terrible. We will move to Freya next. An 8, that's better. Nothing happens. We needed a 9 or a 10. All right, Dorian, let's do this. 7, nothing happens. All right, so we didn't quite make any good stuff there, but each of our survivors gains +1 courage. I've got to say it's worthwhile because Bastion has hit his very first courage milestone for bold. Alright, let's move on to our random event. We're so close to the line now. Let's roll and see what we get. Alright, that is going to be 53. Alright, so we have the Mask Salesman. The survivors meet a traveling mask salesman on the road. He insists he has special wares to offer. Shuffle 1 copy of each mask gear from the mask maker's settlement location and draw 1 at random. The salesman is offering the mask. The event revealer rolls 1d10 to determine the price, then gains the mask. Wow. Alright. We've got our masks here, so let's shuffle them up, see what he's selling, and see what we get. All right, it is the Antelope Mask. So this provides 2 armor to the head location, and if we can get 4 affinities, 2 blue, 2 red, at the start of your act, if you're insane, you gain +1 movement. Whoa! All right, let's see the price. We roll a 6. Go over here. The salesman slowly gestures for an offering. Archive 1 gear of your choice from your gear grid. Would it be bad for us to archive the cloth? I mean, it can't be worth a mask, but I'm going to archive the cloth. So, Dryleaf is going to be without armor on the waist location. But the good news is he's now got the Antelope Mask, which will bump his head armor up by 2 points combined with the lion headdress. Love it. Actually, the accessory keyword, that means he can wear it in addition to any armor there anyway, so that's okay. Very nice. Well, that's it, guys. Let's get our survivors in, and it's time to attack the lion. Let's go. Alright, so here is our terrain setup and survivor setup for the game. So as you can see, we've got our standard long grass. We drew the Arcanthus plants, which we've set up nice and far away. And then we've got this ore vein. Oh, actually, hang on. Can you see that? There's an ore vein down there. There we go. Let's see if I can even that up. Alright, so this touchwood is going to be a fairly simple encounter for our survivors. We've already done the white lion a couple of times, so we kind of know what to expect. So this is really an opportunity for us to just gain some resources, build up some of our newest survivors, and maybe test a couple of new strategies. Alright, so as is the norm with any hunt, the monster activates first. So we'll draw the lion's first AI card. And it is a mood, bloodthirsty. When this comes into play, draw an AI card. So this is the one. When a survivor suffers damage for any reason, place 1 token on bloodthirsty. At the start of each monster's turn, if bloodthirsty has 3 or more tokens, remove all tokens and perform a basic action. So if this lion does damage to us, well, he's just going to get more activations. Let's draw the next AI card as instructed, and we get grasp. Pick closest knockdown survivor in range. No one's knocked down, so this becomes the closest survivor in range. Well, we are all in range, so we're going to pick. How's that? Now, Bastion, of course, has the most armor here, so let's take the white lion over. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's right in there, and he's going to attack. Now this is a speed 1, 2+ usually, but because Bastion's standing in the long grass, that becomes a 4+, which in turn becomes a 5+ due to Bastion's natural evasion. So 5+, let's see how we go. It's a 5, so it does hit. Where does it hit? In the chest. All right. Now it's only 1 damage. Let's have a look. But after damage, the white lion isolates its prey and then full moves away from all threats. Well, that would put him, a little bit out of the way. We'd have to do a bit of a chase. So let's dodge this one. We'll use one of Bastion's precious survival, and because of his rawhide gear, we roll to see if he gets it back. A 4, and he does not. All right, that's not so bad for a first activation for the lion. Let's get collecting. How about that? Now we'll start off with Freya. We're going to move her down here next to the ore, and we'll activate to see what we can find there. Roll 1d10, and it's a 10. All right, find something shiny, gain 1 iron strange resource, and we archive the terrain. Very nice. Best we could have hoped for here. And here's our iron, so not extremely useful to us just yet, but I'm sure it'll come in handy later. All right, let's move Dryleaf down a notch, and he's going to try and harvest the Arcanthus plants, because these things, as you've seen previously, are an absolute lifesaver. Let's roll. An 8, and we do gain another fresh Arcanthus. There we go. So that is 2 fresh Arcanthus we have in the bank. Very nice. Archive that bad boy. All right, let's try and do some damage. How about that? Now, Dorian's not going to be able to get close enough to jump in with the cleaver. Ooh. So let's move him in about as close as we can get. All right, let's attack with Bastion. Now, he's got that Twilight Sword. Now, this is a great, super strong weapon, but it has some drawbacks. He's unable to move and attack at the same time, and basically its accuracy is horrible. It's a 9, minus his Twilight Sword proficiency level, which he doesn't have any right now. So he'll be relying on, well, an 8+ really, because he has a +1 to accuracy. Let's roll, hope for the best. A 6, not good enough. All right, well, having done absolutely no damage to the lion, it's his turn to activate now. Draw his AI card, and we get Smart Cat. Reveal the top 10 AI cards one at a time. Put the first 2 mood cards revealed into play, then shuffle the deck. All right, let's start with that. First, not a mood. Second, not a mood. 3, 4, 5, 6. No moods to put in play. If no moods are put in play, we draw an AI card and then we archive. All right, so if we archive Smart Cat, we draw an AI card, Revenge. Last survivor to wound in range. Well, nobody has wounded, so the closest threat is going to be Bast. It's a 2 speed attack. Accuracy will be 5+ again, but this is 2 damage. All right, 5+. Oh, a 1 and an 8, so only one of the 2 attacks hit. Let's find out where. To the head. Ow. All right, Bast, you can dodge that one, I think. Let's see if he gets his survival back. A 1, he certainly does not. All right, he's sitting on 2 survival here. Wow. And I said this was going to be easy. All right, we'll start with Freya. Now, she can't actually get into range to attack, but she can harvest that Arcanthus. 2, 3, 4, 5. So she'll get right in there and harvest. We'll roll to see how she goes. And it's a 9. That is another one. What? So we are sitting on 3 of the Arcanthus plants. All right, archive that one. Let's give Bastion another go. Hoping for an 8+. A 1, no good. This is going to be a hard slog. It takes a lot of effort to get good at the Twilight Sword, pretty much. All right, Dorian, let's move him right behind the white lion there and attack with the Butcher's Cleaver. Now, this is 2 dice. He'll usually be hitting on a 4+ because he's in the blind spot, but with 1 extra accuracy, it's 3+, guys. Let's roll. Oh, 2 hits, and we draw the Beast's Elbow and the Beast's Chest. Now, both of these have failures on them, but I like our odds because the Butcher's Cleaver is such a strong weapon. Now, the strength of this attack, including the Cleaver and Dorian's natural strength, is 6. And with a toughness of 8, we're going to be hitting on 2+ here. This is where it's at. Let's roll. Let's start for the Beast's Elbow first. A 5, so it's a hit, no failure. No critical wound, but that's okay. We discard the hit location and an AI card to the wound stack. Let's go for the Beast's Chest. A 2, oh, and we just make it. All right, next we'll move Dryleaf in. And to be cautious, we're going to put him in the corner because he is not wearing much armor at all. Doing 6+ here. And a 9, so it's a hit. Where are we hitting? The Beast's Scapular Deltoid. This also has a failure, but with the strength of the weapon and Dryleaf's natural strength, we only need to roll 3+. Let's go. A 1! Oh no! All right, that's a failure. What happens? Full move monster forward in a straight line. Cancel all hits now out of range. All any survivors passed over suffer grab. Okay. Well, that's 2 survivors there, so this is not good. Full move him forward, which will push him straight up against the board edge down the bottom there. And both of our survivors here suffer grab, which means they are knocked down in front of the lion, which is going to have to be beside. Oh my god, stay there, please. There we go. And they both suffer 1 damage. So Bastion, 1 damage to the head. That's okay. Reduce his armor to 1. And then Freya, 1 damage to the head also. We might have her dodge that one, so we'll spend that survival. And she is safe. Now, because of the damage dealt, we do add 1 token to the Bloodthirsty mood, so I'm going to place one of the blood tokens on that. 2 more and he gets a free attack. So these guys won't get up just yet unless we start using some survival to get them to stand. I'm thinking it's a good idea. But let's begin with moving Dryleaf down in the corner behind the white lion, and he'll attack with the King's Spear. 2 dice, 6+. All right, no hits, but he is going to use his survival to get Bastion to stand. All right, let's move Dorian in right behind the white lion. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll move him right behind over here so he gets some cover in case there's an attack back. And he attacks with the Butcher's Cleaver. 2 dice, 3+. A 4 and a 5, that's 2 hits. We go the Beast's Ribs, which has a wound, and the Beast's Flank, which also has a wound reflex. All right, none are particularly bad, but let's go the Beast's Ribs first. We get an 8, which is a wound. So, if the attacker has 3+ understanding, the sound of cracking ribs is encouraging, and the attacker gains +1 survival. Unfortunately, we don't have the understanding, and we move to the next wound. A 5, and that is a hit. Now, as a reflex for this, the lion turns to face and attacks. He is very upset. The survivor also gains the priority target token. All right, it's a 5+ for Dorian here. A 4 and a 1, both attacks, both rolls from the white lion miss. Let's just hope Bastion can make a wound here. Come on. Twilight Sword, 8+. A 4, no good. We just need 1 wound here, people. We need to improve. All right, the lion attacks. Power SWAT. Closest threat, facing and in range, is going to be Dorian. Speed 1, accuracy will be a 5+. And it's a 1, and we miss there. Well, that's good. Back to the survivors. And this time, Freya gets an attack. Now, she can't get into the blind spot, so she will stand there and attack. She's got the scrap sword, and this is a mighty weapon as we've seen. So, 5+, 2 speed. 1 hit. The fleshy gut. This has a failure on it, so let's see how we go. Going for a 3+. It's a 9. Oh, so close to that perfect, that critical wound. Oh, but we do get the wound. All right, Bastion. We're rolling well now. Let's see how we go. There we go. That's a hit. All right. We'll draw up. The Fuzzy Groin. We hit the monster right in the ding-dong. I know what you guys think, but getting hit in the groin with a sword like that is not going to be pretty. Now, this thing has 9 strength, which means it's essentially going to be a wound no matter what we roll, except that a 1 is always going to be a failure for us. So as long as we don't roll the 1, we'll be okay. A 6, and we make the wound. And with that, we can also check off our wound for this round, meaning that Bastion is going to gain 1 point of weapon specialization towards the Twilight Sword. Oh yeah. All right, Dryleaf attacks with the King's Spear. 2 speed, 6+. A 7 and a 5, only 1. Come on. All right, the Strange Hand. Now this has a failure on it, so let's hope we can get through this. 3+. And we make the 3. Very nice. It's another wound. So we are just melting wounds off of this guy. We'll shuffle the Lion's AI deck. Only 3 cards left in there, and we've still got Dorian to attack with the Cleaver. 2 dice, 4+ now that he's out of the blind spot. A 7 and a 10, 2 hits. We get our Beast's Ear. And the Glorious Mane. Damn, we can't actually wound him on that one. Let's roll for that Glorious Mane. Hopefully we can score a critical wound here to gain the Shimmering Mane resource. It's a 7, so it's a no-go. Next to the Beast's Ear. And it's a 1. Oh no, failure. The white lion jumps back. Without turning, move the monster 1 space directly away from the attacker. Well, that's awkward, but we are going to have to move him. We'll move across this way. And poor Freya is knocked down again. Now, from memory, there is a grasp hanging around in that AI deck. Well, probably is anyway. So let's just on the safe side, get Freya back on her feet. Dorian spends 1 of his survival. And with that, she stands up. Draw our AI card, and it is Revenge. Last survivor to wound in range. Ooh, who was that? I know Dorian failed. It must have been Dryleaf. All right, so he moves. Sorry if I get this wrong, but let's do that. So he moves in and knocks down poor Bastion. Now this is a 2-speed and it's a 5+ because we're still hanging around in that tall grass. All right, 2 hits either way. Where's the damage going? 1 to the head, 1 to the chest. Oh boy. Now these are 2 damage attacks. And we can only dodge 1. This is not good because he doesn't actually have any chest armor. So we're going to spend 1 survival to dodge that. And then with 3 armor at our head location, we're going to be okay for the time being, down to 1 point of armor. The white lion isolates its prey. Full move the white lion away from all threats. Target suffers grab. Yoicks. Well, most of the guys are on that side, so I think the lion's going to go this way here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He is out of there. Dryleaf comes with him. Another point of damage and another token on the bloodthirsty mood. And that would bring him up to 3. So, the start of the monster's turn. All right, well, it's not the start of his turn yet. That means next turn he's going to get another attack in. Ooh. All right, we've got 1 turn to get 4 wounds here if we want to take out this white lion. And I don't know if we've got much of a chance here. Let's see how we go though. All right, now it looks like everyone's just a little far out of the way to do anything, but that doesn't mean we can't get in there with a shot. Freya is going to full move. She's all the way out here, guys. She's going to full move towards the white lion. Now, because she's got the white lion boots with full connected affinities, she gets 6 movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And she will spend 1 of her survival to dash. And this is going to bring her right in there to attack the lion. 2 dice on a 4+. That's a 4 and an 8 and 2 hits. She gets the soft belly and the beast's heel. All right, let's aim for that soft belly. Aiming for a 3+. And we get the 3. All right, very close there. So that's another wound. That's good. We move to the beast's heel. And it's a critical wound. Let's see what we got. Your precise attack ruins the monster's straining tendon. The white lion is knocked down. Oh boy. Now this has a persistent injury which affects some other attacks, but most importantly, the lion is knocked down. And this early in the survivor's activation, we are in for a treat. Either way though, that is another AI card out. And oh, she has deadly, doesn't she? Because of our affinities, we've actually unlocked the deadly ability on the scrap sword, meaning we get to pull out another wound. That means the lion is sitting on 0 AI cards. 1 more wound and we've got this. Freya has been incredible here. All right, so she's had a wound with the sword, which means she can move forward with weapon proficiency. Dorian has hit with the axe. He's doing well. Even Dryleaf has hit with the King's Spear, and Bastion has made it with the Twilight Sword. It doesn't matter how we get this wound, we have accomplished what we needed to accomplish here. We're going to give the last glorious shot to Dorian here. Now, he's a little bit far out to do any damage with the bow at the moment. He's actually out of range. So we're going to move him a couple of places forward so we can kind of get in with a shot. I'll show you how. So we'll move him up 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll do right there. That way we can get everyone in shot. Now, because the catgut bow is cumbersome, we actually have to use a movement and an activation to attack. So we basically need to recover our movement activation. So Dorian's going to surge to gain it back using one of his survival. Now, usually this wouldn't be a great idea because the bow, well, it hits on a 7+, but the white lion is knocked down, which means all attacks will hit on a 3+. So let's do it. A 4 and a 3. Luckily, we got 2 hits. So we draw 2 hits from the deck. Come on. We get the straining neck and the beast's knee. Thank goodness. All right, we'll be rolling to wound on a 4+ here. Let's start with the beast's knee. An 8, and with that roll, the game is done and the white lion is finished and our survivors are victorious. Let's have our survivors jump in. Actually, let's get rid of that priority token. There they are. And what a great job they've done, right? Now, before our survivors return from the hunt, we've got to pass on some of that hunt XP. And Bastion actually fills in his second box required for the age milestone. So let's do that right now. Pretty cool. All right. So he's got improved reflexes now. Let me see if I can just... There we go. So we roll our dice and see what he gets. 16, gain 1 random fighting art. And he gets crazed. Now this is on a perfect hit, gain +1 insanity. Love it. All right, back to the crew. Now he did actually make a wound with the Twilight Sword, so he gains 1 proficiency there. Dorian gets a hunt XP. And both Dry and Freya do as well. All right, our survivors return. We gain our 4 endeavors for a job well done, and then we update the timeline and draw a new settlement event. Acid Storm. We've had this one before, all right. What happens this time? The air tastes sour and burns the survivors' cracked lips. The sky cracks in great flashes, revealing spiraling black clouds. Finally it opens, dousing everything in acid rain. Roll 1d10. And it is a 9. Some of the debris around the settlement, excellent, we got this last time, becomes useful due to the strange effects of the storm. Add 1 scrap to storage. All right, I add that in. And we have the lingering effects here. So the storm prevents music endeavors, no worries. And the storm inspires +2 to the results of all art endeavors. And if we had nightmare training, we could do that. And cooking, we could do that. But we don't have those yet, so we'll see how we go with that shortly. We update the timeline. And bang, we have armored strangers.
You're visited by enigmatic figures fully enclosed in armor. They march silently through the settlements. The only noise is a metallic clang as they pause before each survivor and tap their lantern halberds against the ground. The survivors have no choice but to helplessly wait their mute deliberations.
All right, guys, just saying this doesn't look good for us. Firstly, we have to add the King's Man as a nemesis encounter. Next, we count our survivors. This is not going to be good. Well, we're sitting at 15 living survivors, so they're going to take the destructive action. The strangers finish their count and draw their blades. Roll on the table below. Oh, God. A 4. The armored strangers wantonly execute survivors, suffer -5 population. You may resist to avoid this. That is 5 survivors gone. We can resist though, so if we rise up, add Special Showdown King's Man level 1 to the timeline this year. Whoa. So this encounter will not advance a lantern year, but good lord. All right. 5. Do we even have 5 people that we'd like to get rid of? We have 7 unnamed survivors, but that is a massive hit to the population. I think we have to resist, guys. I think so. All right, let's return back to our settlement. All right, good news is we do get to develop before we hit the special showdown. So, wow, this is going to be crazy, guys. We've got to prepare here. We move to the development stage. All right, well, we've got enough resources to continue on building our white lion armor set. So we're going to spend our white fur and monster hide to grab the white lion coat. Now this comes with a very cool ability, Pounce. You can spend your movement and your activation to move 3 spaces in a straight line. Then if you moved 3, activate a melee weapon with +1 strength. So this will involve a little bit more placement as we go through, but can be very powerful, especially when coming up against giant armored foes. And to complement that, we're going to spend another white fur and monster bone to grab the white lion gauntlet. Now this just gives the added ability to pounce, where if you do pounce, gain +1 accuracy for your next attack this turn. Very nice combo there. Now we did score a lion claw as well, and I thought we'd get the claw head arrow to give to Ripper with her bow. If we hit with this, the monster gains a -1 evasion token, making it much easier for all of our other survivors to make a hit. Lastly, I figured we can't just stick around and spend our endeavors bumping up the hunt XP of all of our guys. So I figured it's time to innovate again. So we spend our skull, lion tail, and questionable resource as an organ, plus our endeavor to innovate. Let's shuffle up, we draw 4 and pick 1. We get shrine, sculpture, hovel, and face painting. Let's have a look. Now, face painting gives us a place to spend endeavors, that's good. Basically, it's a way to gain insanity and to improve the intimacy rolls, so that's okay. Hovel, we've seen a couple of times so far, bumps our survival limit up by 1, and this also does have an effect on the intimacy roll table as well. Departing survivors also gain a bonus survival, so that could be good. Here we have sculpture. You create an inspirational sculpture. Skip the next hunt and lose a fighting art. Record this fighting art on the settlement sheet. A settlement can only have 1 inspirational statue. We can spend an endeavor to study the inspired statue and gain the fighting art. So that could be cool, but maybe not yet. Lastly, we have shrine, which we can use to spend an endeavor and then gain insanity for our survivors or departing survivors, or gain armor to all hit locations. Yikes. That's really good too. So that would be survivability for everybody. But the survival limit, man. I think we're going to have to go with shrine here, guys. Is that a bad move? Tell me if that's a bad move, but I think it's going to be the go for us. All right, let's add it. All right, well, with that done, we may as well use one of our endeavors here to hopefully help us prepare for our next encounter. Let's roll, hoping for that 4+. And 8. Excellent. All right, so all departing survivors add 1 armor to each hit location. Brilliant. Well, that's good. We still can't use Acid Storm endeavors at the Acid Storm, so we might as well bump up some Hunt XP. Let's see how we go. We'll keep these and we'll be able to use them at the end of after this showdown, because we're going to go back up there. All right, guys, it's time to take on the King's Man. I'm excited, a little bit scared, but let's head off and see how we go. What are we going to do? King's Man is going to be such an insane encounter. Should we have just given up our 5 lowly unnamed survivors to skip it for the moment? We could continue building our characters up so that they're very strong by the time we encounter them. But it didn't seem right, did it? This is Kingdom Death, and this is all about the fight. It's all about the survival and that ultimate struggle where we just don't know if we're going to make the next. Anyway, that's going to be an absolute fun episode. So next episode, we are going to deal with that Kingsman. Hopefully he's not going to deal with us. A couple of other things thrown in through there. We've got some debut appearances from some new characters. Dryleaf and Freya. Freya, you were fantastic. Dryleaf, what were you doing? You spent the entire game on the ground. What's important is that we are building our B team so that when our founding survivors cark it, we have a B team ready to pick up the reins and lead our settlement to some sort of other death somewhere out there. Anyway, so that's about it for this one. Thank you all very much for watching all the way to the end. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, subscribe, and send your comments down the bottom. I love our little community that we're building. Much appreciate the comments and tips, hints and tips from all of our regulars. You guys are the best. Without you, we've got nothing like all this going on, seriously. That being said, we are about done. So, my name's Michael, this is Bits Aboard, we'll catch you next time.